earlier you had your gun depressed. What I like to do is keep my gun up near my eyesight. So as I'm looking through my sights, looking at my gun in my eyesight, I see my sights here lined up, right? All I need to do is bring the gun just down enough to be able to move over and
drop a little bit,
tunnel into my sights.
So I don't need it down at the floor.
So the reason why this is more preferred is having a gun out rather than having low. What I prefer as far as like having my gun depressed or in my ready position, like keeping your gun depressed does allow you to move freely, but it's just remind you a certain way where you're not ready. Like, at this position, am I ready to take a shot?
You could take a shot.
I could take a shot, but can I take an accurate, well-aimed shot?
Probably not.
Especially if there's family members or non-threats in the house.
I wouldn't trust it for that.
Exactly, right? So what this tends to do is what? You have to extend out to your sights. And at that point, if a threat or a non-threat exposes itself inside the hallway or in the room, I'm rushing to get my sights up. And then guess what I'm doing? I don't have enough time to process it because I'm worried about getting my gun up, my sights up in there, so I'm not ready at all to take that long shot. Right? So instead of having it decompressed here, I'm looking at my eyesight here, in my sights, and I just drop it just a little bit lower. Now I'm not tunneled on my gun, right? I can still see everything around me, but the difference is this. Moving up into my eyesight, that's it. My eyesights are aligned. If I come here, my sights are unknown.
Exactly.
Right? I don't know how well they're lined up right now. I can't, no matter how many times I do this, I'm not going to take that well shot. Unless you're practicing doing that every single time. Right? And at that same time, you're only worried about your gun and your sights. And then you have to worry about what you see in front of you. Does that target have a gun? Is that someone you know? Or is that a threat or a non-threat? Okay, so have my gun out in my eyesight here, dropping it down. It's not much of a difference.
And then you can still see.
I can still right over
the top
I
of your weapon.
Manipulate my movement, manipulate my gun away. I can decompress when I need to. Now, there's a purpose for decompression. Compressing it down low. If I need clear barricades, right? If I have limited space,
right?
That's the only time that I would prefer it, right? If I come here and I have nothing here but the wall, if I need to create some space into my body, I'm still have my gun out just slightly,
right?
And if I need to pie in to get my angle, my door, then I can come in, right, and clear that barricade, that wall. Now, but what I want to do is say at least clear about 100% of that wall or that room. If I can clear about 95% from here, boom, now I can come in and start turning. And at that point, I don't need to decompress from the wall.
Right.
The only time I need to decompress if I really do need to clear that space and make room for my body. But at any moment in time, I want to have my gun up the whole time. And I can move in. So, again, having your gun down low or decompress, what does that do?
I don't have a sight picture.
You're not ready. You're not doing a long shot, right? Pros and cons. Everything has pros and cons, right? Having your gun depressed and low has a purpose. But as far as me engaging a target inside the house or a threat, if my threat's known in a room and I'm actively engaging, there's no reason for me to decompress, right? Especially if I haven't cleared 100% of that room. If I saw a threat and I start doing my angles and I got 10% of the room, a threat opposes itself, there's no reason for me to decompress that gun. When I decompress, I'm not ready to take a shot. You're not sure about the 90% of the room, so you gotta be ready all the time. So for me to be ready, my gun's gotta be in that high. Right. It's much more.
And then instead of going all the way down to move, just drop it.
What's the difference in moving here to here? Yeah. As I move, I can move my gun up. Right. I can see everything, right? The only difference is I'm not looking directly into my eye.
Exactly.
I'm looking over my gun, and the movement is just that. Right? Compared to here, I'm not ready. So now I have all this room, this distance to get my gun into my eyesight. Right? And that's not going to be perfect every time. Because now what you're doing, now you're focusing your eyes on the sights itself rather than being the target. Right? From here, I know my sights are there because all I got to do is do this motion, that small motion. And I can confirm that my targets, my threats in front of me, that now I can be target focused and my shot to be on my target. Rather than here to here, I have to be sight focused. We see my sights to engage an accurate shot. Right? Because if I was target focused from here to here, I'm not going to aim well place shots on target. Right? Depending on the distance and depending on if there's any others around target. Right. So understand that coming low ready and compressed is not the most ideal way to actually present and move on.
I'm picking up my front sight much quicker like that than from down here.
Yes, you are. Yep.